Virginia.
Hi, Virginia. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Where do you live now?
Fort Myers.
You here in Fort Myers?
Yes, I never got away.
You never got away.
Never left.
So, you see a lot of your old buddies here?
Oh, yes.
I know you get together quite often.
No, not really. You can go shopping almost anywhere and not see anybody you know. I studied. I worked after school, so I wasn't involved in a lot of extracurricular activities.
Is your senior prom partner here? No? Well,
She was our junior high school queen
She was junior high school queen
in the 9th grade.
in 9th grade.
She was a beautiful girl in the 9th grade, junior high school queen.
Are you having a good time, Francis?
Oh, I'm having a wonderful time. So good to see everyone.
That you might want to relate to us on,
From our high school days?
yeah, about a little story about
Our,
one of your...
our basketball team.
Why is
We were the
that?
#1 basketball team.
Were you a cheerleader or something?
No, I would play.
You played?
Right.
Ooh.
What? On the basketball team. Yeah. On the girls.
So you're very proud of that?
Absolutely.
You were state champions?
No, not really. But we won a few.
So what position did you play?
Center.
Center?
Right.
Wow.
Because I was pretty tall.
So you were the tallest one, huh?
Well, almost. Almost.
So how many points, what was your average?
I don't remember. But it must have been at least 50. It was a small class. Everyone knew everybody. It was just
Where you living
really,
now?
really fun. I live south of Fort Myers.
South of Fort Myers.
Yes.
So you haven't strayed far from home?
No.
And all your parents live here and everything?
Yes.
But so this was your flame in high school.
Yes, you might say so. For a while, anyway.
And of course now you pick somebody else, right?
I did.
That's right, to get married to.
Yes.
Well, what happened? You went off someplace?
No, the other one went off someplace.
Well, and what is your name, sir?
Bill Griffin.
Did you have any nicknames or anything?
Billy.
Everybody just call me Billy.
Everybody call you Billy. What position did you play in football?
Halfback.
Halfback? Yeah, pretty good, huh?
I'd say so.
I could run a little bit. That way.
What do you remember the most about your experience at high school?
He is a sweetheart.
I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
And you live here in Fort Myers now?
No, not now. I don't live here now. No, I live in Tampa now.
Where?
Tampa.
Tampa?
Yeah. I lived in Miami 41 years. In 92, I went to Tampa.
Very good.
And I come back here from time to time.
Every now and then you make your acquaintances.
Oh, yeah. Great bunch of people.
Good. Good time.
Plus, anybody else go to Ginger Ale?
You're going to try.
How about you? How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
What's your name?
Jerry Dowdy.
Hi, Jerry. Tell us a little bit about some of your activities during high school.
Well, remember? We had a lot of clubs and organizations, and Gina and I used to spend the night with each other all the time.
Go to dances.
Go to the dances.
And what do you remember the most about some of your experiences? Any funny thing that happened to you during your senior year? Did you want to tell us about?
No, nothing funny.
You fell in love.
Yeah, well, I fell in love my junior year.
Oh, who was that? Who was that to?
Harold Dowdy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he was stationed at the air base in Fort Myers.
Is this the gentleman right
No,
there?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, my husband passed away last year.
Well, is he the gentleman that you eventually married?
Yeah, I married him after I had a year of college.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
We were married 47 years.
47 years, my goodness. And what do you remember about him the most when he was in high school? What attracted you to him?
Well, I just fell in love with him. Yeah, we had a lot of interest in common.
Well, very good, and I hope you have a good time the rest of the day. And sir, what's your name?
CJ Seagraves.
And tell us a little bit about some of your activities during high school.
Oh, I guess the thing I remember most were Glee Club with ski turns, Pan American Club walking down the aisle at the old arcade theater, student council.
Were you in the student council?
Yes.
So you were pretty popular.
No, I was just number 5 with a scale of 1 to 10.
Everybody knew everybody.
He sang at my wedding.
Oh, he did?
Yes. He had a beautiful voice, and
That's it.
he sang Because.
Last thing
Did you ever
Lord's
use that
Prayer.
professionally?
Lord's Prayer.
Close. Do what?
Did you ever use that professionally?
No.
What do you do now?
I have an antique shop now.
Here, are you living here locally?
No, I live in Northeast Georgia, right up on the North Carolina border.
Oh my goodness. So, you like to come down here and visit with your old friends and all?
Well, I'm enjoying it this time. It's the first time in,
Oh, is it really?
High school.
since in almost 50 years. Yes.
So what do you think?
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. It made the long drive down here all worthwhile.
Very good. Well, have fun.
I'm having a great time. It's wonderful.
A wonderful time.
What's your name?
Joanne, and
Joanne?
used to be Foster.
Used to be Foster, huh? That was your maiden name?
Not
faster. She was fast, but I was faster.
Do you have one of your old flames here, buddy? Was this guy? Sounds like he might have been little.
Nah, he was a late addition.
Was he a ladies' man?
Oh yeah, you
No,
bet.
I wasn't in the school.
No?
No.
You tried to, they wouldn't.
What do you remember the most about your experiences over at Fort Myers High School?
At Fort Myers High School, I remember the basketball games.
Uh-huh.
They were great. Particularly one playoff in, where was it, Sarasota, Betty? We went up there to go to one game, and they had the playoff, and then they won again, and they had the playoff, and they won again. We ended up staying 3 days. We had no money, no clothes, nothing to eat. We had a wonderful time. That was Gene Jepson and Don, I think.
Did you have a high school sweetheart?
Not that I talk about.
And who is your senior prom partner here, by any chance?
No. No.
Who was that? You remember?
I can't remember.
Must have left a real impression.
I think he was one that moved on very shortly after that.
Is there a connection there?
I don't know. I hope not.
And we have Ernest here. How you doing, Ernest? And what do they call Ernest?
Boney.
Yeah. How you doing?
Cheers for Boney.
You having a good time?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been waiting for you, Rudy.
What do you remember?
I remember Chris Stafford one night pitching about 25 fastest catches and beat Judge with Hybrid for the championship. 14-12. Billy Griffin broke his leg that night. We all cried.
Betty Bracewell Collins.
And you live down here now?
Live in Onika, Florida. 75 miles north of here, between Brighton and Sarasota.
When did you move up there?
1977.
So you like it up there?
Yes, but I left Fort Myers in 1947.
47. Goodness, where'd you go from there?
Married him, he was at the University of Florida, went to Gainesville.
Oh, you rascal you.
And then from Gainesville, we went to Arizona and New Mexico, and then back to Tallahassee, Florida for a while, and then to Mississippi, and then on to Atlanta, Georgia, and then to Oklahoma, and back to Atlanta, and then we retired and moved back to Florida.
So, you've made your rounds around the country here. I want to ask you, where do you remember the most about your high school years?
Oh.
Any funny anecdote you want to tell us about?
Funny anecdotes.
Well, just a funny story, or just a story in general that you remember.
Well, one of the things I remember is we used to have to get our own transportation to basketball games. The boys had a bus that the school would provide, but the girls had to find their own transportation to basketball games. Yeah, and my my dad would let us have gas coupons to buy gasoline, and then I'd get a friend of mine to drive his car, and then he had it. He was paralyzed from the waist down, and I always had to drive home.
Well, you didn't mind that though, did you?
No, no. The only thing I minded was all the fog we used to have on the highway, and 41 was kind of narrow.
Fog and the cow.
Fog, and there were cows out there.
You never know where, or an alligator.
Well, probably. We didn't see them, but they could have been there.
Mostly cows.
Mostly cows on the highways. That was
Were you any good? I met the center over there. You were on the basketball team, huh? What position did you play?
I played center guard.
Center guard.
We played half court in those days.
Really?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really, she played all over the whole court. She was our star.
I was voted most athletic girl in high school.
Is that right?
The year we graduated.
That's why you liked it.
No, not really.
No?
I'm happy to be out of it. That was the thing.
Yeah? What I like. You, what kind of activities were you involved in?
Not anything. I went to school and I went to work. I didn't do anything.
Is that right? Well, you know, going to work is a...
There were quite a few of us in those days that did that.
That's
Yeah.
right. And where do you live here locally now?
I live in South Central Pennsylvania.
No kidding. That's where I'm from, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Pottsville.
Oh, okay. I live in near Harrisburg. Everybody's from Pottsville.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody wants to get out of Pottsville.
Is this the first time you've come back for a class reunion?
Yes.
Are you enjoying yourself so far?
So far, but it's only been a couple hours. Give me a time. I might learn to hate it.
Have you recognized anybody that...
Not a soul.
Not a soul?
So it's 3 years old.
Well, you have a good time now.
All right.
Okay. How about you, sweetie? What's your name?
Sweetie.
I'm sorry.
Sweetie. The meanest. I was the meanest kid in Fort Myers High School.
You were? I don't believe it.
Still is.
There were some pretty mean kids.
Tell me some of the activities you were involved in during high school.
Basketball.
Boy, there's a lot of girls in the basketball team here.
They're all here. All the jocks are here.
Let me think. What else? Oh, we played volleyball too.
And I heard you had to provide your own transportation to get to the games.
We did.
Did you?
Probably. I guess we did. Because Fort Myers at that time had a pier, which was downtown. I can't remember exactly where it was. Near where the overpass is, and we could walk there, you know.
Tell me anything that you remember about your high school days, any story or something that you want to relate to us about growing up during high school there?
She just was waiting on me. All I did was...
Who's your best friend?
You know, I lived where the Fort Myers News Press is.
No kidding.
And when the bell rang, I went to school. And when the bell rang, I went home. And that's about it. And then I walked to Walgreens and went to work.
And who's your best friend?
Well, I used to have a friend named Jeanette, but we were good friends. And Vera Taylor and Estelle Wilson and Vera Parker.
And is this the first time you've been back?
I live here.
You live here. So, what did you do after high school?
I got married in the 10th grade.
You got some kids?
3.
3 kids. And I'm sure are you a grandma yet?
3 times. 3 great-grandchildren.
Well, you're gonna have a good time this weekend.
Oh, yes.
Now, I don't believe it. You weren't really the meanest.
Yes, I was.
You were.
Doing fine.
What do you think about all these people coming together today?
Oh, I think it's great.
And I want to ask you, what do you remember about high school?
I remember having a good time.
Yeah? What activities were you involved in?
Basketball.
Basketball. Everybody's in the basketball team.
Got the whole team.
What position did you play?
I played all of them.
Center, forward, guard, the whole bit.
Yeah. We played
don't remember her last name.
And tell me about some of the stuff you guys used to do together.
We used to ride our bicycles to school together. Yeah. Didn't we? Yes, we did.
And then we went down in the afternoons, and her mother worked across the street from my mother's, and we would go check on my mother, and then we would go check on her mother. And then did we go get a Coke?
Did you guys
Yeah,
have
we'd go
common
get a Coke.
interests in the gentleman?
Common
No,
interest?
we weren't much in the, in the young men in those days. In our generation, all the young men were in the war.
That's what I understand.
They had gone to the Navy.
What activities were you guys active in during high school?
What did we do, Helen?
You were cheerleader.
I was a cheerleader. Yes, I was a cheerleader.
And I stood and cheered her along.
I see. And
Isn't this wonderful, Barbara?
I want to ask you, tell me a story about her.
Tell me a story about her.
Tell me a story about your friend.
What kind of story am I supposed to tell? A good story.
What do you remember the most about her? Well, first of all, you guys both living here locally?
No.
We see each other about every 5 or 6 years.
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas. No humidity there, huh?
No humidity there.
But you can't tell me anything about her when she was during high school?
No, we just plain had a good time.
Yes, well, we used to go to church together. Yes, we were members of the First Methodist Church. And I think we were 16 years old, but our mothers didn't allow us to date the soldiers who were in town, which nowadays would have been, if they were, the daughters nowadays would have just said, well, too bad about you, Mom. But we were not allowed to date.
But we flirted with them.
We flirted. We did a lot of flirting. Yes, a lot of flirting.
Well, you ladies have a good time, and anything you guys want to say to me, anything you guys remember about each other, you tell me on the
I know what we used to do. We used to ride the bus out to Buckingham Army Airfield to the dances and dance with the soldiers. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
You used to drive a bus?
No. We rode the bus.
Where out to? Buckingham?
Buckingham Army Airfield.
Well, there was an Air Force base out there?
Yes.
Pageville and Buckingham.
Pageville.
Well, like I said, you guys have a good time.
Thank you, we will.
Both of you with the class of 1945?
We're with
I want to
it.
ask you.
I'm not a member of the class.
Huh?
I'm with it, but I'm not a member of the class.
Oh,
She was a teacher.
She was one of their teachers.
no kid. And how about you? What's your name?
I'm Esther Scott Hall.
Hi, Esther. You having a good time?
Very good time.
Are you from around here locally?
Not anymore. I moved away in 46, living in South Carolina.
And
Just came back for this reunion.
Is this the first time you've been back?
No, I've been back. Mother and Dad used to live down here, and I used to come down quite often. This is the first time I've been back, though, in several years.
What do you remember about
Any activities, because we lived out and had to ride the bus or catch the bike and go or something like that, so I really wasn't participating too much in activity.
And this teacher here, what did she teach?
She taught shorthand, bookkeeping.
Did you take those courses?
I don't believe that she was my teacher in shorthand. Who was the other teacher that taught?
Miss Carson taught typing. That was the only other
Well,
one.
were you the one that taught?
I taught all the
I
shorthand.
guess she had me in the first year, and I knew better not to take it any longer. I couldn't pass it. She was a good teacher.
A tough teacher, but good, huh?
No, I don't think
had
she
a
was that
good
tough,
time.
but she was a good teacher. But I did take
That was the
typing.
last year of the war. We didn't have much money.
That's right.
We got the school board to buy some paint. We painted our room.
My boyfriend at the time was in service. He was overseas. So after the war was over, then we got married. He was from South Carolina. That's why we went back to South Carolina.
Well, Bradley.
Jim, I could see that you probably either went to Georgia or you must be stayed down here.
No, my family came to Florida in 1765, so I'm a native.
Is that right?
Some of the first English people down here.
My goodness. I want to ask you, what do you remember about this class of 1945?
Well, it was a real good class.
What activities were you involved in during high school?
Well, I'll tell you the legal one: football, baseball, track.
What was the illegal one? Running whiskey or something, or what?
Well, no, we didn't run whiskey. We didn't know anything about it. No,
moonshine or what?
No, we were really a clean-cut group of kids. Really, everybody. We didn't know about the bad things in life much of then. Fort Myers was a small community.
Yeah, everybody knew everyone.
What do you remember? Any funny story that you can remember about high school? You want to relate to us?
Well, I can down where their Holiday Inn's at now.
Right.
They used to be open beachfront.
Uh-huh.
It was hard to find a parking place down there on Saturday night.
Oh, really? So that used to be the hot place to go to?
Oh yeah, if you could get a parking place. The breeze blew in off of the Palouse-Hatchet River. It kept you cool. Mosquitoes wasn't quite that bad down there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And who was your girlfriend back then? And knowing you, the way you're talking, you had a girlfriend.
Well, I don't think I better reveal all that. No, I had a lot of girlfriends. It was none of them real serious, but I had a lot of girlfriends. Jean over there, Barbara right here, and gosh, some of them's already. Let's see.
Do you remember who you took to the prom?
Yeah, Lolly McWilliams.
Yeah, is she here?
No, she's passed on. She was a nice girl.
Is this the first time you've been together with the class?
No. I've been meeting with them most
pretty
of the time.
often.
Pretty often.
So what'd you go off and do after high school?
Went off in the Navy.
Uh-huh.
And this time, 50 years ago, I was on the approaches to Berlin.
Is that right?
Yeah, we were getting ready to go into Berlin with the 2nd Armored Division. And I came back and finished high school after I got back. But I was in the Navy Seabees. We constructed a Navy headquarters for the Potsdam Conference to take place in Berlin after the war. And then I came home and went into construction business. Stayed there a while and then went to police work. And I retired out of police work in '89.
Well, you having a good time?
Enjoying it.
Good.
Enjoying it.
Do that the rest of the time. Now, who do we have here? What's your name?
I'm Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. You look great. You look old.
Thanks.
She's more mature now than she was in 45.
Right.
Well, how's that?
I've grown up.
Tell us a little bit about what kind of activities were you involved in during high school?
Basketball, definitely.
Everybody's on the basketball team here.
Just girls. Girls basketball, not boys. Girls basketball.
Well, okay.
We played the half court.
Right.
Played the half court.
Yeah.
I understand had a pretty good team back then.
Yeah, I remember one time I played guard. We played LaBelle. I will never forget that. We played LaBelle, and I was guarding this 6-foot cowgirl from LaBelle. Oh, what a night. We used to play on the...
Were they your rivals?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. We were very active. We took part in everything. Anything come along, we were right there in the middle of it.
And
lots of fun.
I heard some of the ladies over there, they were saying that they used to go over to, I don't know, it wasn't LaBelle, but they used to go out to, I guess it was LaBelle where the Air Force Base was or something?
Buckingham.
Do you used to go out there with them?
Oh, definitely.
Victory Maids.
Yeah.
Victory Maids.
Victory Maids. Yes, we'd go to the dances.
We danced with the servicemen and tried to make them comfortable.
Flirt with them.
They did that while we were all fighting.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Graduated from the 9th grade, the principal went down on 1st Street and got the soldiers to come up to dance with us because...
What's that?
Tell it.
When we graduated from the 9th grade, a lot of the boys had already left, so we didn't have many boys to dance with. So our principal went down on 1st Street and invited some of the servicemen who were in Fort Myers at that time to come up and attend our
ninth grade prom, so we'd have people to dance with.
And then I remember a nice story. We were in typing class. I forget what grade it was, but it was typing, and one of the pilots from Page Field at that time, that was the Air Force,
Right.
Page Field. One of the pilots was buzzing one of the girls and crashed, not into the school, but within a few blocks. Yeah, right. That's
One of the girls that he
Killed him.
You're right.
left
He
wing.
died?
Yeah.
His left wing clipped an
Yes.
Australian pine and it killed him when he
That's
on
true,
impact.
yeah.
That's amazing.
The airplane
Yeah.
wound up in a woman's bathroom. She was taking a shower, and all of a sudden, the damn airplane wound up in the bathroom with her.
I heard you. I'm sure you must have heard a screech of. Was everybody in the classroom doing that?
Oh, we were in typing class. We jumped up out of our seats and went to the windows to see what was going on. Yeah, it was,
It's amazing.
yeah.
And what did you go off and do after high school?
After high school,
Yeah.
my family and we moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Oh my goodness, big climate difference.
Right, and that's where I met my husband. And he was stationed at Camp Carson, Colorado, which is in Colorado Springs.
And did you live there? Have you lived there ever since?
No, we lived there 4 years, and then we came back to Fort Myers, and then in '79 we moved to North Carolina and bought a restaurant, and
That's it.
that's it.
Were you having a good time?
Wonderful. It's
Good.
just great.
Okay.
Seeing everybody. Some of these people I haven't seen since high school. It's really nice.
You have a good associated with any activities?
Not really. A couple of clubs and one thing and another. I wasn't into athletics, but it was interesting.
What I want to ask you, what do you remember about class of 1945? What do you remember about going to school in Fort Myers?
Well, I went to Fort Myers High 2 years, so I don't have the long background that a lot of these people have, but the amazing thing to me, in those 2 years, I made more lasting friends than I have in the 50 years since then.
That's great. That's great. What did you go on to do after, 2 years there? Was it your junior and senior year or freshman and
Junior and senior year.
so there, what did you do after?
Well, immediately after graduation, I was drafted into the Army, so that took a couple of years. And you're going to be glad you asked me what I did. I'm a funeral director
Oh, is that right? Here locally?
in Fort Lauderdale.
I see.
I did work a couple of years here locally, but then I went to Fort Lauderdale.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Right? It was interesting.
Well, you enjoy yourself, though.
Thank you.
Good, hold on. Very nice, all right. You want to bring everyone else in then?
To be with us.
Edna Berry Hannum.
Well, it's good to be here.
Hi.
Good time?
Oh, great. This is for our 10-year-old granddaughter, her class project. Her teddy bear is supposed to travel all over the world. And unfortunately, we didn't get her real teddy bear, so this is the cousin. Since her real teddy bear couldn't make it, we decided the cousin could take the trip instead. Well, there were only 99 of us.
That's right.
During the war. So some of them went off to service early. We're not there for graduation. But I left the day after graduation, and
Where'd you go?
we didn't. Pennsylvania. And I hadn't seen a lot of these people until 5 years ago when I came down for the 45th reunion. It was great, so much fun. We decided we'd come back for number 50.
And what part of Pennsylvania?
Near Philadelphia.
And I want to ask you, what activities were you involved in during high school?
Glee club mainly, and some odds and ends of things.
And who's your best
Don't lose
friend?
it along the way.
Wileen Wood, Francis Harris, and some others whose name I can't remember.
Her mother was my best friend.
And I want to ask you, do you remember any funny story or anything about something that happened to you during
It's tough.
Not offhand.
But
Not offhand.
if you remember something, you come and not come and get me. I'll show you.
Okay. Be fine.
And we have a good time there.
Oh, I will.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
That's right. She was on the basketball team too.
Well, I know. That's what I said. Everybody hears I was in a basketball team. Just about.
Everybody was. Joanne was our man.
Are we going to be able to get one of these tapes?
Story to tell. Tell him that story.
You look like you're all ready to be, you know, with that little hat there, be in the Navy.
Well, I'm getting ready. I'm on a cruise today, but I'm getting ready to go to Hawaii on Monday to go on another cruise.
Whoa.
Hawaii out.
How come I wasn't invited? You were invited.
Well, class sponsored. Yeah, you were invited.
Ben Taylor.
Hi, Ben.
Hi.
First time you've been back?
No, I live here.
Do you?
Yep. 8 years now.
Yeah? Tell me, do you anything, remember any kind of activities were you involved in high school?
Working all the time.
Yeah, I heard a lot of that from people. So what'd you go on and do after high school?
Well, after college and 4 years in the service, I went to work for a cryogenics company in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, is that right? I'm from Pottsville.
No, not Pottsville.
Well, I'm from Pottsville.
You're from Pottsville. Oh, very nice.
Anyway, so so you've come back often?
No, I live here permanently now.
Oh, I see. Retired?
Yes, yes.
And have you run into some old friends here?
Sure.
All old friends, right? 50-year-old.
Old. Yeah.
Is there anything that you remember back about your days that you might want to recount for us? A little story or anything? An anecdote of any kind?
Oh, Lordy. Boy, you have to think about that one a while. No,
Okay.
not.
Who are you involved in?
Oh, I paint, play the organ.
What did you do after you got out of high school?
Got married.
Yeah?
Got married.
How many kids did you have?
2.
2? Oh, yeah? Who's the biggest flirt of all you?
Sarah Moreland.
I talked to him on a boat. He was a bit
Sarah, is that you?
That's me. I'm Sarah. What did you say about me?
They say you were the biggest flirt out of all of them.
Still is.
Where are you from? Are you from around here?
I'm born and raised here.
Are you still here? Living
Still here?
Looks like you're still here.
Were you on the basketball team too?
Yes, I was.
Oh, everybody was in the basketball.
I wasn't. I played guard.
You were on the basketball.
I played guard.
9th grade, 10th grade.
Oh, I wasn't. It was not nice.
What do you remember? Anything that you remember about those days that you want to tell us a little story about?
Come on.
No, let's don't get into that one.
Yeah, okay.
No, we rode our bicycles to school and
See, we all did the
They
same
told me
thing.
about the plane crashing the one day.
yeah, that's right. Remember all hanging out the window watching that?
That must have been boring.
We were hanging out the window watching the plane crash.
Are you having a good time?
Yes, it was wonderful.
You continue to have a good to go. You
I got married.
Yeah, you still live? You living here?
Yes, I do live here.
Uh-huh. So there's a lot of people that just stayed here, huh?
Quite a few of us did.
You grew up with the area.
Right.
It's
Changed
quite much,
with you.
quite a lot larger now, isn't it?
Oh, much.
Can't even recognize it.
Much.
My name is S.E. Poole, P-O-O-L-E.
Right after that. And what do you remember about that class of 1945? What activities were you involved in? I heard a lot of you guys worked, but
that was the problem with me in the class of 45. I didn't stay there up until January. Then Uncle Sam decided he wanted me.
where
So
did
we
you
left.
head off to?
United States Navy.
And where were you stationed and stuff?
I was stationed aboard ship and went to the Pacific Ocean.
Did you see any action?
No, I just missed it though.
And what'd you do after the Navy?
I come back to Fort Myers.
I see. And started a business or something like that?
No, loafed for a year.
Loafed for, okay, you're entitled.
I couldn't find a job.
Well, it's a small town back then, wasn't it?
Very small.
And what did you go on to do then? You look pretty fit.
I left Fort Myers and went to Tampa.
I see.
I went to radio and television school.
No kidding. Doing what?
To repair television.
Well, what did you do?
What did I do?
You were an anchorman?
No, just technician.
Technician, sir.
And then after a while, I went into the insurance business and stayed in that for 43 years.
So you realized, just like me, that there was more money in insurance than there was in television.
It was at that time. We had 2 stations in the state of Florida. And that was the reason.
One in Miami and one in Tampa, probably.
That's right. One in Miami, one in Jacksonville. Tampa didn't have one.
When was is this the first time you've been back to see all the classmates?
No. I returned to Fort Myers in the latter part of 1970.
I see.
I came back to Fort Myers.
And have you run across in the last couple of days anybody you hadn't seen in a long time?
Only here.
Yeah?
Only here.
Well, you have a good time the rest of the time here, okay?
Thank you.
If you're with a special friend or you got a group of friends together and you want a picture with some of your classmates or some buddies, speak up to me or Vinny, he's that gentleman right there with the glasses, and we will take care of it. I think that you guys should get your pictures taken with your teachers too. And you should have paddled this gentleman right here more. I'm telling you, it would have worked. He ended up by chasing one of the classmates. What? He ended up by chasing one of the classmates. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Enjoy your party, and we will help you any way we can. Make a couple announcements real quick.
My name's Pat Morley. I know who you are. Good to see you. DJ, I haven't seen you since 43. That's right. Good to see you. Good to see you. I might not see you again, but hell, I'm there. Hi, brother.
Hey, Pat, what the hell are you doing dragging ass in here this way? Looks magnificent, but that's got nothing. No, you don't. She might come around and might get one.
Well, me and y'all work
Hello there. There's my buddy from the cruise.
Yeah.
How'd that tape turn out?
Huh?
How'd that tape turn out?
Good. Got plenty more to go.
Oh, all right.
Tape was okay. How old are you?
Yeah. That's a good invocation during the benediction.
Really, who's this, Ernest?
This is William Jones, Reverend William
doing?
Jones. Fine, how are you?
Having a good time?
Sure.
First time back?
It is.
Yeah?
In 50 years.
What do you think?
Well, I haven't changed a bit, but some of these fellows are getting older, you know.
What did you do right after high school? What did you go off to?
Went in service and went into college and seminary, and then I've been pastoring for 40 years.
You're a pastor?
Yeah.
Where are you currently living?
Alabama.
In Alabama, sir. I see. And so this is the first time you've had an opportunity to come back and visit?
First time to a meeting like this. I've been back on occasion.
Any little anecdotes or little stories that you might remember or recount for us about your high school years?
That's too long ago. I can't remember that.
Were you involved in any activities in high school?
Not really. I was working each afternoon after school, so I didn't have much chance to do much. And I didn't play.
A lot of people work.
Yeah.
Well, nice to see you. Have a good time, sir.
Hey, thank you.
Hello. What's your name?
Rudy.
Hello, Rudy.
Listen, Mickey, I want to ask you, what's it like being back here and seeing all your old friends here?
I saw a couple of people this time I haven't seen since we graduated.
Is that right?
In 50 years.
Anybody in particular?
Yeah, a fellow by the name of Milton Pomeroy. Howard Wilson. Oh, no, we come back quite often.
What did you do after high school?
Well, after high school, went to the Navy for a little while, got back home and rested.
Got arrested.
Then I went to work in the flower business and moved to Boynton Beach in 1965 and been on the east coast of Florida ever since. But we come back once or twice a year. Yeah, we don't count that. That wasn't very long. Nah, because I got fired from that.
Well, you having a good time?
Absolutely.
You have any stories or anything about high school that you want to tell us? Anything about anybody?
No, not really. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I want to be a nice guy. I don't want anybody mad at me at this late stage.
I appreciate it.
Time, thank
What's
you.
your name?
Betty Black.
Hi, Betty. Betty White?
Betty Black.
Black. Betty Black. Okay. Hey, Betty, how you doing?
I'm fine. Glad to be here.
You talk specifically about your days there in high school.
Oh yes, we had a ball. We didn't realize how much fun we were having, I'll tell you that much.
And what did you go off to do after high school?
Went to college.
I see, where at?
Virginia and Mont, Bristol, Virginia.
My goodness. A lot colder up there than down here.
Yeah, you better believe it.
And where'd you go after college?
I worked at WINK here in Fort Myers.
No kid. Where? Back in, when did that get started, WINK?
1947.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. Don't remind me. That was not very nice.
Well, you had a radio station.
That's right. It was a 250-watt AM station with an alligator out on the ground system.
And this is the first time you've come back
No, I've been living here most of the time.
So you've been able to reunite with some of your friends over and over again?
Yep.
And who was your best friend?
This gal sitting right here.
Who's this?
This is Tracy Keller.
Tracy?
Go. Teresa.
Teresa, okay. Oh. Hi, Teresa. Well, tell me, what did you guys do together?
Everything.
You really don't want to know.
That's right. You really don't.
Did you go off to Buckingham for those dances like the rest of those girls?
Of course.
Yeah, I heard you notice.
And Pagefield. And the service club downtown. Oh, yeah.
And was she a flirt?
Not really.
Oh, no. Neither one of us were.
Do what?
He said you get me a word. Was she a flirt? I said, no, neither one of us ever were flirts.
Ask him, he knows.
We were innocence personified.
What'd you go off and do after you got out?
I'm married.
My name's Joan Caputo.
And what did you go off and do after high school?
Well, I got married and then went to Tampa, where my husband went to business school. And then I was married for 17 years. And at the end of that time, I went to college.
My goodness. So what did you study in college?
Social work, social welfare.
I see. And then you worked in that field?
I worked in with the HRS in Florida, the state of Florida, for 23 years.
My goodness, that's great. And what do you remember about your class days down in 1945? What was your typical day? What time did you get up in the morning?
As late as possible.
I heard a lot of the girls, rode their bicycles this year.
I did for a good part of the time. I was in the band in the Glee Club.
Oh, I see.
And then I worked after school too.
And so now where you're living down here?
No, I live in Tallahassee and I come down here about once a year.
Once a year to visit some of your friends.
Poor Mickey.
And so is this the first time you've come back for one of these class reunions?
No, I was back 10 years ago for the class, for the reunion in 1940.
And did you run across anybody today or the day before that you haven't seen in a while?
Oh, yeah. Several people.
Did they recognize you?
Not without a name.
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't have recognized them without a name too.
no, that's just the way it is. But anyway, you have a good time the rest of the
Thank you.
time here.
Thank you.
Carl Skinner.
Hi, Carl. You having a good time so far here?
Oh yeah, we have a good time every time we get together.
I want to ask you, 1945, class of 1945, what activities were you involved in high school?
What activities was I in?
Yeah.
Softball and bowling and just playing on the fairgrounds.
And then also chasing the women, I suppose.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What did you go off and do after high school?
What did I do after high school?
Yes, sir.
I went to work in a funeral home to become an embalmer and funeral director.
There's another gentleman here that is in your class that does the same
Brooks
thing.
Branch.
And so you had a business here or someplace else?
No, I just worked for another funeral home.
I see.
I was an employee.
And you worked there all your life there? I mean, the rest of
I worked there for 5 years, then went to seal test milk crop for a year, then went to the Federal State Department of Agriculture.
My goodness.
And then I stayed there for 36 years and 6 weeks.
36 years and 6 weeks. Where was this? Where was the location?
From here to Michigan and over to Pennsylvania and through the Carolinas and Georgia. Then got stabilized in Florida in '69.
And you've been down here ever since again?
Yes. I'm a native Floridian.
Yes, sir. I can tell.
And what gave it away?
Well, just a little bit of the accent. But anyway, these last couple of days, have you run across somebody that you hadn't seen in a while or anything?
Yes, I have.
And any surprises?
And we just saw people that we haven't seen in a long time. And we're running into surprises all along. Mickey Noble over there, I was driving by his place for 10 years and within a block and didn't even know it until we went looking.
Well, that's great. And you have a good time the rest of the year. Is this your lovely wife here?
Yes, it is. My wife, Faith.
Well, has he been keeping you busy? Going back and forth all over the country, hasn't he?
Going back and forth all over.
Well, you have a good time.
Thank you.
How you doing, sweetie?
Hi.
What's your name?
Mildred Custer Nowak.
Hi, Mildred. You must have played in the basketball team.
No.
No? Well, you were the tallest one there, I saw. I thought for sure you would have been.
No, I was not into sports at all.
And tell me a little bit of some of your activities in high school.
Well, I was a business manager at the Coosawhatchee, and that was the yearbook. And I wrote for the newspaper, Singing Pan American Club, Honor Society, and Spanish Club.
Is that right? And what did you go off and do after you graduated from high school?
I went to college.
Where at?
Did Thomas Alva Edison College here. That was the first Edison College.
First class? I don't even know.
No, it wasn't the first class. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But I went for 3 years. It was really just a junior college. But I took a third year, and then after that I went to work.
And where did you end up living here?
Yes, sir.
And what did you end up doing for it? Did you have an occupation, or did you get married, or?
Well, both. I worked for the old Franklin Hardware Company.
See?
And then I married.
Have any children?
I had 2 children.
See any grandchildren?
2 grandchildren. Well, actually 3.
3. Well, you know, you got to keep track of them, you know.
Well, twins. Twin granddaughters and a little grandson.
Is this you live down here now?
Oh, I've always lived here. I've never
So
moved away.
this is not the first time you've gotten together with the class?
No.
And over the last couple of days, have you seen it and met anybody that you hadn't seen in a while?
This is my first occasion with the group, and certainly I've seen a number of people I have had seen for many years, some of them not since graduation.
And who are your best friends in high school?
Oh,
Did you have a lot of them?
Helena, Sheila Foster, and I can't think of too many more, but Helene and I were very close.
Is she here?
Yes, she is.
Where is she?
You can just see the handiwork.
She's sitting someplace else?
Yeah.
I'll interview her.
Her husband is Brooks Bryant. I've always lived here. My mother's family lived here.
Well, you were still part, weren't you?
Part.
What's your name?
Leona.
Hi, Leona. Tell me what you did after high school.
Oh, I went to college where she went, Edison, Thomas Edison College, and took typing and shorthand and things like that, business.
Did you get married too?
Oh, yes. I got married. Yeah, my husband was killed overseas in the Second World War.
My goodness.
And I have one son from that. And I have one grandson, 2 great-grands.
That's great.
A little girl and a little boy.
Well, I'm sure you're very proud of them.
Oh, I am. They're wonderful.
You live down here currently?
Yeah, I've lived here all my life.
And what took you away from, where did you go, you said you didn't graduate. What was your story? What ended up happening?
I got married and didn't graduate.
Well, I'm glad you were able to attend this. I'm sure
oh, yeah, I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it.
You have a good time now.
Thank you.
Somebody happened up on me, and so I got invited.
Your name is Milton.
That's right.
Hey, Milton, what did you end up doing after your high school years here at Fort Myers?
After my high school, I spent most of my life in the Navy.
I see. And how many years was that?
22 and a half.
And so you were stationed in various places?
Quite a number. Different places, different ships.
And after the Navy?
I got my college diploma and did some bookkeeping for a while.
I see. And where did you live when you got your bookkeeping and stuff?
Here in Lee County.
I see. So
still living in East Fort Myers. I had the same address for the last 17 years out in East Fort Myers.
Very good. And you having a good time?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you continue and have it.
Thank you.
Are you talking to? Are you?
What is your name?
My name is Pat. My maiden name was Complete. Don't ask me to spell it. And I'm now Pat Mellor, M-E-L-L-O-R. I'm married to Bill Mellor.
What did you, well, tell me, do you remember anything specific about your days at high school?
Well, I don't know, except I lived really close to the high school. And for a few months, my mother and I roomed with Boney Middleton's parents.
No kidding.
Yes, and all the girls were jealous, but he didn't say anything. And that was while we were waiting to buy our house on Palm Avenue, which is now the parking lot for what we call the Darth Vader building. You know what that is? That big black glass building over there where the high school is. My father taught at the high school during, I guess, my last 2 years. And
what did you end up doing after high school?
Oh, I just got married, raised a family, and
how many kids did you have?
Three children. Yes.
Any grandkids?
Oh yeah, 3 grandsons. But see, I guess, I don't know if you call me successful or not, but we never got out of Fort Myers. We just stayed right here.
Well, why should you have to leave? It's a growing area, you know?
That's right. Well, we tried to sort of ride the wave. But we're still here.
That's great. Is this the first opportunity you've had to get together with these folks?
Oh no, no, we've attended quite a few of the functions.
And have you run across in the last day or two anybody you haven't seen in a while?
Oh yes, quite a few. Yeah, a lot.
Well, you have a good time the rest of the weekend.
Well, we plan to. We always go to the Pioneer Club picnic every year. That's going to be fun.
Well, we'll see you there tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to be there?
Yeah,
Good. Okay, we'll see you there.
Howard Wilson.
Tell me what you did tell me, were you involved with any activities in the high school?
No, the only thing I had in mind was getting out of there. You know what I mean?
Is that right?
Yeah, so managed that, and that was enough.
What did you end up going after high school, sir? You went to after high school?
I joined the Air Force and stayed about 8 years.
And how many years were you in the Air Force?
8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
And where were you stationed?
Well, I had 2 years in the Philippines and a year in Korea during the Korean War, and then everywhere else.
So, did you see any action, as they say?
No, well, a little bit. Yeah.
That's pretty well winding up after about 45.
Well, in World War II was, but Korea wasn't. It just got started, and I was in there when that got started.
And so you spent a lot of time in the Air Force, sir? Or was it a career for you?
No, I didn't make a career of it.
And what did you end up doing after you got out of the Air Force?
Well, I came back and took over my dad's gas station down McGregor and Whiskey Creek.
Whiskey Creek,
Yeah.
That's right.
I stayed there 24 years and then sold out and moved to North Carolina.
I see. And you're currently living there now?
Yeah.
And is this the first time you come back to reunite with your classmates?
Oh no, I have some children lived here. My mother and father lived here till they died, so I came back. I come back once in a while.
And are you having a good time? Have you seen some people here that you haven't seen in a long time?
Yeah, quite a few.
Well, you had a good time, sir.
Yeah, I had a good time, but I make one comment here. I don't think I'll come back to any more of this because you people are getting too old for me. Oh.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. To ask you a little bit about what you were involved in when you were in high school. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was involved in a lot of club work and just did a lot of things. Ended up being secretary for most of the clubs, but it was fun. And then I went from high school to FSCW, which became Florida State University when I was a junior, and graduated from there. And got married in '49 and went to the University of Virginia to work in Charlottesville for a couple of years.
Then you taught school, didn't you?
Yes, I did. We came back to Tallahassee and I was with the State Department of Education for 2 years and then came down here and taught at Fort Myers Senior High School and then had increased my family size to 4 boys. And stayed at home for 10 years, then went back into teaching at North Fort Myers High School, and from there to Riverdale High School, and from there to Cape Coral High School.
And I want to ask you, is there anything you remember back in 1945 in that class of yours? Any anecdote or story?
Oh, well, it was during the war years, and we sold a lot of war bonds. And I got crowned Queen of the War Bond Drive in 1945, which was exciting because apparently I had sold a lot of war bonds, and that's how I got to be crowned Queen.
Well, that's fantastic. But you're having a good time now, aren't you?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you're not nervous about the weather?
No, it's supposed to be clear tomorrow.
Okay.
It's supposed to be clear tomorrow for our picnic tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Hi, Bill. How you doing, buddy?
Doing fine.
What did you end up doing after high school? Well, first of all, tell me what you did. Were you involved in any activities or anything in high school, sports or anything like that?
I wasn't I wasn't involved in any of that. I was actually I worked after school.
A number of people did that from what I understand, sir. And so you didn't have had responsibility early there, huh?
Well, it's only to support a car.
What did you end up doing after you got out of high school, sir?
I joined the Navy to dodge the draft.
And after you were in the Navy, what did you end up doing?
Tell him where you were stationed.
Well, in the Navy, I went over to China. I enjoyed that part. And when I got out, I came back to Fort Myers for a short time, and I moved to Sarasota and went in business.
What kind of business?
Ceramic tile business, installation. And I'm still doing that.
Still in Sarasota, sir?
Still in Sarasota, still doing the business.
And is this the first time you've been able to get together with your old classmates here?
No, I get together 3 or 4 times a year.
And who are your close friends during high school? Did you see any of them here today?
Well, I like to think that they all were.
How diplomatic. You can tell you're still in business, can't you? Well, you have a good time the rest of the time we're here this weekend, okay now?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I don't mind Sunday night alone. That's the night friends come to call. Monday, Friday go fast, and another week gets past. Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. I sing the song that I sang over the memories I usually see. Until I hear you at my door, you're in my arms once more. Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. And if you want to purchase a class photo, you can do that also. Good. That'll only cost you $150. That's all. Here's the song.
Yes, he does. Turn around there.
Dorothy, now you listen to your teacher, Dorothy.
Yes, she told me well, she didn't teach me, she was my principal.
I was
Now, I want to ask Dorothy, what did you do? What did you do during high school? Did you have any activities during high school?
No, I worked most of the time in high school.
Worked most of the time? And what did you do after high school? Where'd you go? What'd you do?
I went to
Atlanta went to Atlanta, and I went to the University of Georgia.
What did you study at the University of Georgia?
I took the basis cases in commercial.
Very interesting. Where'd you go after that?
Well, I stayed in Atlanta for about 6 years. I went to Dayton, Ohio, lived there for a while. I went to Patchogue, Long Island, New York. And then we moved back to Atlanta, and I've been there 26 years.
Atlanta. And you have kids?
One son.
One son. And I want to ask you, is this the first time you've come back for one of these reunions?
No, I was back for the 40th.
What did you teach?
I started in Fort Myers in 1924.
He was the principal. What classes did you teach?
5th and 6th grade for 7 years.
I see.
Then I went to Tice Elementary School, and I was principal there for 30 years.
So do you remember? You know a lot of these?
I know a lot of these boogers. Don't take that picture.
Well, hey, we do this on purpose. We put it together a videotape at the very end for everybody.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Well, you having a good time?
Sure. I always have a good time.
Looks like you're having a good time.
I've always had a good time.
Well, that keeps you young, you know. It keeps you young.
I'll soon be 92.
Is that right? You look great.
Thank you.
You have a good time now. Class of 1945, correct?
Yes, sir.
What were you involved in with the class? Any activities that you can remember that you were with?
Not too much studying. Mostly, I love sports. And I used to go see a couple of girls once in a while.
What sports were you involved in?
Oh, I liked baseball, football, and track.
So you played with Boney in there, huh?
I sure did.
And I want to ask you, where did you end up doing after high school? Where did you end up going and doing?
Well, I wasn't fortunate enough to finish high school. I left in '43. I was a sophomore.
And
after my sophomore year, I went in the Navy, volunteered in the Navy.
I see. Where did you do your duty?
I did in the South Pacific.
Ooh.
In the amphibians.
So did you see any action, as they say?
Well, yeah, I saw enough. And I did my share, and I'm proud of it. And then I came home, and
what'd you do after you were in the Navy?
Well, I just messed around on the 5220 club.
What's that?
Well, you got $20 a week for 52 weeks. And all you had to do is just go out and look for a job once in a while, and then they'd pay us old wore-out veterans $20 a week. And that was a lot of money back in those days.
Now, you look like you do pretty good for yourself there. What'd you end up doing after that?
Pardon me?
What'd you end up doing after that?
Well, and I went to Miami, and I met a nice sweetheart. In Miami when I was in the Navy, and we ended up getting married, and I lived in Miami until 50, and I went to Ohio. Helped my mother-in-law build a house, and my oldest daughter was 3 years old when we went to Ohio. And then I got Air-Equip Corporation. Kids started coming, and I had seniority. Then after I retired, I came back to Fort Myers.
Very good. And is this the first time you've gotten together with this class?
Oh, no. I've only been down in Fort Myers about 5 years. I came down a couple of times when I was still up in Ohio for our high school reunion. No.
And then, so I saw in here, were there a couple of people this time around here on your 50th that you hadn't seen
oh, yeah.
a long time?
Oh, yeah, there's a person I hadn't seen, C.J. Seagraves. I have never seen him before. Had you? Yeah. And that was nice to see him. And a lot of times you don't see somebody for 5 years. But I live here in Fort Myers.
You said you said you had you didn't say you had girlfriends, but you said you you looked after the girls. Which one in particular in the class there?
I just can't really remember.
Yeah.
Now you're getting really nosy. But I kind of like you.
Well, tell you, man.
No, but any of the girls, I liked them all. Henry Jim.
You having a good time then?
Very good time.
Very good.
Yeah.
Continue to having a good time.
Yeah.
We'll see you later.
And I appreciate you talking to you.
Thank you.
My problem. I'm not bragging about
Real
it.
duds here, huh?
Boy, let me tell you, both of those turkeys are something else. I got news for you.
Go ahead, Billy. Go ahead. 5220 Club. Had you forgotten the 5220
Hey, you forgot the 52.
Bill don't know about that.
5220 Club. You was in the member. You remember
Yeah,
the 5220
yeah,
Club?
yeah. Sure
They
did.
give you $20 a week for 52 weeks, and that's all you did was chase girls for a whole year.
I don't think I did it for 52 weeks, so did you?
No.
Did you
I
do
drank.
it for a year?
No. I went back to high school. Finished high school.
I couldn't last that long.
I'm a Navy veteran going to high school. Everybody thought that was weird.
I was a real tough boy. Then I started smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. I thought I was a heat.
You were bad.
Actually, they're about a year older than I am.
Hey,
Big difference. I can notice the big difference.
That's right.
I come back, got me a motorcycle, and I was a beginner of the AL
Did you get your tattoos or
No. Oh, Lord, no tattoos. But I enjoyed that.
We played
motorcycle.
football together.
Yeah.
I was a halfback and he was a guard.
Oh, yeah?
He just didn't knock.
Right up his back?
He just didn't knock him down fast enough. That's all.
Yeah, with candy legs. Got his legs. Big old tackle in Tampa broke his leg. He just couldn't take it.
You got all the glory, didn't you? You did all the work.
He couldn't take it. You know, we had all the fun down in the line, though, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, turned it into a riot.
What did Boney play?
In?
Boney played in.
Yeah, he played in.
He used to call the shots for us.
Yeah.
He could look at the defense and call, all right, coming over the middle, coming over tackle.
Yeah.
And most of the time he was right.
Yeah. Back then, most of the time on our line, the biggest guy was 185 pounds. Nowadays, they're 6'5", 285 pounds in high school, and you say, "Whoa, baby!"
You know what Boney tells me now, that Coach used to say, "Hey, you got to get Bradley mad before he can play." I didn't know that. They'd come in and tell me, "Hey, that big old guy over there said you was a so and so, you know, and he was going to knock you down the next play."
So he knew how to rile you up.
That cranked me up.
Yeah, the coach he's a little weird or something like
Coach
that.
would tell him to do that.
You know that damn river out there?
Yeah.
I used to swim across that damn thing all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 4 or 5 of us decided we were going to go to the other side of the river and swim across. My mother knew it, she'd have died before she died. She'd had a heart attack.
I told him
believe a word of
down
it.
here where the holiday
He
ends
used to
at.
swim the river, man.
Was,
Yeah.
down where the holiday ends at was West First Street.
Yeah.
And on Saturday night you had to get there early to get a party place.
Oh yeah. All the guys and the gals would get in the yacht base and everything. Everybody had their spot there, you know, like this. And if you didn't get there in time, you didn't have a spot. And if you didn't have a spot and came in there, the rest of the guys were going to kick the hell out of you if you get away. So you know,
The wind would blow in off the river. We didn't have air conditioning. So the wind would blow in off the river and keep the mosquitoes off of it.
Shoot.
Woo! Had a lot of fun.
Never
got in real trouble down there, but I had a lot of fun.
Worst thing we ever did was steal watermelons. You know? What the hell?
Tell them about that. Tell them about stealing that watermelon.
Yeah, we were still.
Go ahead.
We had a big city swimming pool, friend of mine.
Just
Sue Campbell, just for the record. We were going to get watermelons. So we knew a place across the river where they grew watermelons. So we said, okay, there about 5 or 6 of us. We're going to go over and get watermelons. I had a Model A Ford 2-door, 1928 model. We truck it over there. And the owner had gotten tired of people selling their watermelons, so put a tent out there with a guy with a shotgun. So there's a big canal there, about 6 foot wide and about 6 foot deep, full of water. We go over there, we start stealing watermelons, and that man come out with a shotgun, and we started running. Watermelon in each arm. The only thing I could do is jump the canal. The middle of the canal used to be in the bucket with rock salt. Watermelon this way, watermelon this way.
Rear end full of rock salt.
Rear end full of rock salt. Get out of that, get back to my Model A. The other guys did get some watermelon.
we got back to the swimming pool with the watermelons, but I had to leave the group because
You had rock salt.
I had a burnt butt. And then when I got home, my daddy did another number on me too. But never steal watermelons. Just go ask the guy for them. He'll give them to you. But that's the worst thing we ever did.
That's the lesson.
Yeah. Was you in on that turkey caper? No, but I had a broken leg. I'm sitting with my girlfriend from her house. He and a bunch of them stole the damn turkey, and they all come running past me, and I'm sitting there with my girlfriend. We're watching them go by. And the police are all over the stinking place. They come by the next day, and they said, "What about you?" I said, "Hey, I got a broken leg. I'm sitting there with my girlfriend from her house. You know who it was because you saw it." I said, "I didn't see anybody but a whole blur that went by me, a bunch of guys." And it seems like these guys stole the turkey, and they told them, "We think we know who did it, but if that turkey just happened to appear back where it originally came from, the owner might forget about it." So these guys decide the only thing to do is take the turkey back. They go back at night and hear all the people sitting there with the cars with the lights ready. And the minute they put the turkey in the fence, all the lights go on, and here all of them are shining glory.
Everybody's doing this when we put the turkey back.
So that was them stealing turkeys, believe me. They don't need your more pictures.
The camera's coming at you all over the place, huh?
I'm telling you.
We're
You
doing
are.
an interview. I didn't get you yet. What's your name?
My name is Sheila.
You have to speak up a little bit when
I know where.
hear me.
That's right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
When I asked you, what activities were you involved in high school that you can remember?
Oh my goodness. Seems like I sang in every group that came along. Glee Club, choir, First Methodist choir. Band, played in the band. That was. I thought you went to school so you could play in the band. I didn't know you went to school for any other reason. It was so much fun.
What did you end up doing after high school?
I went to college.
Where at?
Went to Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri for a couple of years. Later graduated from Florida Atlantic University. Went back and got my master's at Florida Atlantic University. That's in Boca Raton.
Yes, I'm familiar. And what did you do with that degree?
I taught school for a number of years.
Where at?
Right here.
Right here?
Lee County.
What school?
I was in the reading program, and so we worked in a number of schools. I worked with little children who had difficulties with reading. One time it was called the Title I Reading Program. Later they called it Chapter 1 Reading Program.
And you have a family?
Oh yes, I have one son, one daughter-in-law, and a brand new grandchild. Just arrived at Christmas time. My first grandchild.
So you lived here basically all your life?
In and out most of my life. I'm definitely a native.
Yes.
I live right here in Fort Myers
So
now.
do you enjoy these get-togethers?
Love them. They're just wonderful.
And did you see somebody new this time, this 50th? And have you run into some people that you haven't seen before?
Yes, I really have. One of our classmates lives in Stone Mountain, Georgia, and my son lives in Atlanta, which is right at Stone Mountain. So we encountered each other out there having pictures made and made plans to see one another in Georgia when I get up next time. So that was extremely nice. Dorothy Burson Haynes is her name.
Very good. And well, you're having a good time.
Oh, it's a great party. Very nice.
Very good. Well, you have the remainder of the weekend. And
yes.
See you soon again.
Thank you for coming by.
They can pick up an American flag at the registration desk and wave it when we start serving
and someone will serve the meal to you. So if we have any people that cannot get up to get their meals, if they'll send someone to get a flag for them, then we can serve their meals to them. Francis, are you all ready? Okay.
We've all lived here more than 50 years and graduated 50 years ago. My name is Frances Harris Gresham. I live in Fort Myers.
I'm Jeanette Griffin Shepherd, living in Fort Myers now.
I'm Barbara Hammock Pintati. I live in Cape Coral now.
I'm Carl Skinner, born and raised in one of the best towns in Florida, living on the East Coast now, but have to return to home every once in a while. I'm Bill Horton. I live in Sarasota. I moved there in 1949 after I married Joyce Skinner.
I'm Mickey Noble. I live in Fort Pierce.
I'm Mildred Nowak. I live here.
I'm Joanne Foster Wittenborn, and I was born and raised here, now live in Fort Lauderdale.
I'm Sheila Foster Haddix, and I live in South Fort Myers.
Betty Whitfield Black, and I live in Fort Myers.
Stella Alderman Torvinen, and I live in North Fort Myers.
Arnold F. Sarlo, lived in Fort Myers all my life and loved every minute of it.
Jim Keaton. I was born on Hoople Street, and I live in the metropolis of Matlacha.
Bobby Green Stevens. I live in North Fort Myers.
James Shirley Stevens, North Fort Myers.
Bonnie Middleton, born in Fort Myers, raised in Fort Myers, and still in Fort Myers. Glad to be back with you.
Ben Taylor Jr. I'm very happy to be back in Fort Myers after being away for 40 years. It's the greatest place on earth.
Bill Rose, and I live in Fort Myers.
Irene Farabee Crow, born here and still here.
SMA Cook Simons, I was born here and I'm still here too.
Beatrice Johnson Altman, and I'm a native Floridian.
I'm Helene Lott, and I'm married to Brooks Branch, and we live in the strawberry capital of the world, which is Plant City, Florida.
Brooks Branch, and as she said, we live in Plant City now.
I'm Jerry Ann Robinson Dowdy. I live in Buckingham.
I'm Sarah Moreland Long, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
I'm C.J.C. Graves. For the past 18 years, I've been living in the Georgia Mountains, about 7 miles north of Clarksville.
I'm Betty Bracewell Collins, of course, born in Fort Myers. I now live in Onega, Florida.
I'm Edna Berry Hannum, and I live in Pennsylvania now.
I'm Roy Giles. I was born in Fort Myers, still here.
I'm Dorothy Campbell Morgan, and I'm still here.
I'm Esther Scott All, and I'm living in South Carolina, just out of Columbia. Came back for the 50th class reunion and enjoyed seeing all of you here today.
My name is S.E. Poole. I'm born in Fort Myers and stayed here for many years, moved away and come back, and now still live in Fort Myers.
I'm Walter Kahn. I was born in Fort Myers and intend to stay here.
I'm Bob Strauss-Ball. I was born in Bayshore, Florida. That's across the river. I still live in North Fort Myers.
I'm Kat Humphrey Muller, and I live in Fort Myers.
Well, then I don't need to be here, do I? I ain't no class 45.
I'm
Abby Keene Holmes, born in Fort Myers, raised in Fort Myers, still in Fort Myers, and I have my 6th generation great-granddaughter with me.
I'm Earl Norman. I was born here, graduated high school, went to the Navy, and I haven't been back in 50 years. I'm now a resident of Pennsylvania.
I'm Milton Pomeroy. I wasn't born here. I didn't get here till I was 3 years old. But I'm here now. Lee's Fort Myers.
Tom Watson, Fort Myers, Florida.
Louise Griffin Bordeaux. I was married to Francis Bordeaux for 28 years. I was born in Bonita Springs and migrated to Fort Myers.
That's her granddaughter's 2 weeks old with her.
Bill Jones, I finished high school here and moved out of state 35 years ago, now living in Alabama.
Howard Wilson from Whiskey Creek, and now live in North Carolina.
I went to Fort Myers High School, left, joined the Navy, came back 40 years later. My name's Pat Moreland.
Pioneers who have been deceased from Lee County. When it reached over 150, there was no way we could read the names this year, so they're posted on a bulletin board by the oak tree over there. I'd like to say a few comments. So often we look at people for what they have instead of who they are. I would like to point out that although there have been some wonderful tributes to our community from these pioneers, it has been because of their commitment of integrity and excellence that these accomplishments were possible. Whatever their profession or contribution, they were dedicated to making a difference by living lives that reflected decency and honor, by showing respect and placing value on all human life. They made a positive difference in our community. Choices that reflect values of quality are neither popular nor easy, but they are essential. The pioneers that we give recognition to today have helped to make our world a better place, and a real tribute to them would be to follow in their footsteps by teaching the generations to come how to live lives filled with excellence and honor.
Anyone 98 years old? Would you stand? All right, okay, let me know who it is. Did you?